Hey everyone, welcome to Muh. I'm Steve.
I'm Chris.
Oh, dude, I don't know if I can do this, man. I don't leave the car. Oh.
How long has it been since we had Nuss, man?
Like a day and a half. That's way too long, man. I can't. I went to the store to get some, but it's way too expensive.
It's the aluminum tax, isn't it? The tariff.
Yeah, and the sugar tax.
Oh, I forgot the sugar tax.
It's like $400.
It's like they hate us.
They do. It's a conspiracy against Muh.
Wait. I got an idea.
I don't care. I just want to sleep, man. Gotta go to sleep.
I think we can get our Nuss.
How? Can we get? How? How are we gonna get nuts?
Black market.
Do I know? I have like foggy brain. I don't.
Gotta find a moonshiner.
For alcohol?
No, man.
I can't keep this eye open.
For Nuss, man. Get your head in the game.
Okay, for Nas. They have moonshiners for Nas now.
There has to be.
It has to be. We gotta go.
The market will provide it. Come on, man.
Okay, I can do this. Okay.
That way.
What is it? Hey everyone, welcome to Muh. My name's Steve.
And I'm Chris.
And our topic's pretty interesting today.
Yep.
Timely, if you will.
Yeah, this got thrust upon us. It wasn't what we wanted to do today, but we sort of got it shoved to the front of our consciousness.
Yes. Well, you clicked on the link, so you probably know, because we always put it in the link. Like in the
Unless
name.
we lied. We might have lied.
Oh yeah, you think it's going to be about tariffs, but it's actually about llamas!
4D chess.
No, it's tariffs. It's tariffs. It's definitely tariffs, because Trump. What is a tariff?
Wow, I should have found out what that was before we started.
Probably.
Can you tell us what a tariff is, Steve?
Yes, I can actually tell you what a tariff is. I know right offhand that a tariff is a tax or duty to be paid on a particular class of imports or exports. Right off my head, right off the top. See that? Nailed it.
So long story short, you want to get something from another country to like your raw materials to make something, and at the place of transfer, government is going to slap an extra fee on top.
Yeah, and sometimes it's a flat fee per item, or it's a percentage per bulk sale. So like, say it's a car, so you tax European cars because somebody wants to do that. And they put $1,000 per car. Or you want to tax, or not tax, but tariff steel, as some people want to do. You do like a percentage.
Like 25% if you're psycho.
It works. Tariffs work. Because if you buy from another country, you're going to pay a lot more than if you do from America. But the problem is that the people that are tariffed their product tend to raise the price to almost what it would cost to buy it with the tariff.
Just under.
Yeah. So
obviously, if they got to pay more for the raw materials, they usually cannot afford to absorb that kind of loss. And even if they could, they're not gonna.
No.
100% American made. Yeah, we're gonna take that loss because we care about the American people. No.
Eventually, consumers will pay that price.
We need some backup from Idaho.
Really?
Yes, has to be Idaho.
Random. Okay, maybe not.
But straight out of Idaho. Jessica Beard, enlighten us.
Hey guys, so let's talk about tariffs. Yay! We started doing tariffs in the US in 1789, and we used them to fund the government. Why? Why did we use them to fund the government? Or why is this bad, I should say? Because it's not taxes to the people, right? So it's not bad. Yeah, it is. And here's why. The U.S. government is kind of like the little shops of horrors, like Venus flytrap thing. It starts off really small, and then you start tariffing, right? And then it grows because it has excess money. Oh, look how much money we have from the tariffs, right? And then tariffs won't cut it anymore. So then it had to start taxing the people, right? Tariffs went from funding 95% of the government when it was smaller to funding 60% of it, to funding none of it because we kind of stopped it. Now, how does that apply today? We already have taxation, so it can only add to our economy, right? No, it really can't, because the government doesn't work that way. See, what the government does with excess money is it grows itself. Again, little shops of horror. So you have the taxation thing already growing, and if you keep adding money to the little shops of horror thing through tariffs, it's just going to grow bigger and bigger and bigger. So, essentially, another form of funding the government is not a good thing, which tariffs would, in fact, fund the government. So if you want the government to be even bigger than it is now, you want tariffs. But that is why tariffs are bad. So yeah.
Yeah, that tends to be the inevitable cycle.
Mm-hmm. I think that's what governments are meant to do. And I honestly think that was Thomas Jefferson when he said that the tree of liberty needs to be refreshed with the blood of patriots and tyrants on occasion. I think what he really meant was governments need to be overturned on a semi-fairly regular basis, because the longer they're in power, the bigger they grow. And
feed me, Seymour.
Well, since she brought up some history, talking about how the United States used tariffs to basically fund itself for quite a while until we started taxing ourselves. Maybe we should talk about some of the past tariffs that have been around. There was the tariff that George Washington signed in 1790 something or other. I'm not sure exactly the date. But so our first president was the person, it was literally the second piece of legislation the Washington administration put forth. Our good buddy Abraham Lincoln enacted a tariff during the Civil War to help pay for railroads and bullets and guns and soldiers and whatnot. And that one didn't last too long. I think it lasted throughout the war, but I think after the war it got kind of canceled. But we've always had from 1871 up to World War II, we always had a tariff, or a set of tariffs, I should say, in the country. But we were all protectionists at that time. One of the bigger ones was the Haley-Schmidt Act of, is that right? Haley-Schmidt? The tariff, the Haley-Schmidt tariff?
No, that's Holly Smoot.
Oh, Holly Smoot. Who's she?
She was in that movie with that guy.
Oh yeah, that one. Okay.
Holly Smoot tariff is something that came out in the Depression era. I mean, a lot of people do panic when jobs get scarce and they go into ultra protectionist mode,
Mm-hmm.
and they end up making things worse. And I think the majority of economists agree that Depression was deepened by the Holly Smoot tariff or Smoot Holly tariff. Sometimes Smoot wants first ability.
Really? I would think at that point he's like, you can just call it the Holly tariff. It's fine. I'm okay with that.
It feels kind of weird for me. It's like saying oats and Hall. I can't do it.
Yeah, no. So in 1945, there was a war. Well, it didn't start in 1945. It ended in 1945. And because we basically wiped out all our competition, like literally bombed them, all of them, we didn't need tariffs anymore. We were like, free trade for everybody! So 1945, that led to a lot of free trade. And we've been mostly free trade ever since. The United States has. There's been a few here and there. Yeah, I actually think that Reagan even did one, I'm pretty sure.
And there's been like tariffs, I think, by most presidents here and there.
Yeah.
It's kind of an overreaction to certain manufacturing jobs leaving, and of course that hardly ever helps.
Yeah.
And recently Obama even did one, but for more on that, we're going to go back to Jessica because she's cool that way. Let's hear about the infamous Obama tire tax.
I think that our most recent tariff was Obama's tire tariff, but it was a disaster. And we saved 1,200 jobs. Yay! And we lost 4,000 in retail. No. Not only did we lose an average of 2,800 jobs, but the consumers paid $1.1 billion in 2011 alone in tires. So it was a massive increase in price, and we lost jobs. It was dumb.
She brings up a lot of good points in there talking about that. That's actually not a bad point. And one of the things she talked about was the $1.1 billion that it cost the consumer, which if you kind of look at how many jobs that were gained, it ends up being about, I think it's $900,000 per job. So the U.S. consumer paid $900,000, and I just went full dole right there for some reason. $900,000 per job. You're welcome.
You want to talk about some privileged class welfare going on.
Oh, wow, yeah. They said that the stimulus that was passed not too long around that time cost, through the state incentives and all that kind of stuff, actually only cost $250,000 per job. It would have been cheaper if we would have just been like, all right, write them a check.
Seriously.
Like,
we're going to pay your way.
Yeah.
It will cost us less.
You know what? We're going to go up to $300,000 per job. Okay. Just to be sure. That's ridiculous. That's insane.
And with what Trump has been...
Is it Trump time?
I think it might be.
Oh, God, it's Trump time.
Wants an extra 10% tariff on aluminum, 25% on steel. I'm sure most of you already know about his foreign washing machines and solar panel thing he wants too. And all told, the estimate so far is $800,000 the taxpayer is covering per job saved by this measure. So when the price of manufacturing gets to be more than a company can absorb, they've got to bring down their costs somehow, and you eventually see layoffs too. That's how you end up with that 2,800 job loss, even after the one saved in the case of the tires. And you're going to see that again come Trump if he gets his way on this.
So you're saying to yourself, Chris, this is what you're saying to yourself, I can tell, okay? Is you're saying, why layoffs, okay? When your CEOs and your big business guys are making millions and millions of dollars, and they could just take a pay cut instead of cutting jobs. That's what you're thinking. That's what you're thinking, right?
We'll go with that.
Okay. Well, here's the issue with that, is They're not gonna. So the gist of what I was saying was that they could take a pay cut, but even their pay cut doesn't equal what
It's not going to cover it.
cover their losses. So yeah, they could take a pay cut and it would help. Maybe they could save, 10 jobs, 50 jobs, whatever. But that doesn't equal the 150, 200, 500,000 jobs that they're going to have to cut. It doesn't matter.
Say, I'm going to work 80-hour weeks for free because of the demented Cheeto. Trump's little announcements, tirades, tantrums,
Tweets.
tweets.
Boeing, GM, and two companies that are near and dear to my heart, Anheuser-Busch and Miller, also saw their shares fall just from this announcement that he's thinking about doing this. And I'd like to read you a tweet from the Miller Company. Hold on. Yes, here it is. This is from the people that make Miller Lite and other yummy beers. Sponsor us. We buy as much domestic can sheet aluminum as available. However, there simply isn't enough supply to satisfy the demands of American beverage makers like us. American workers and American consumers will suffer as a result of this misguided tariff. Basically, what they're saying is they buy as much American aluminum as they can get their little hands on to make those cute little cans that they make that have that wonderful beverage inside. Sponsor us. They have to go elsewhere to get it because there's not enough in America. We don't make enough aluminum to support the beverage industry in this country.
So, I implore you, Trump true believers, if the Second Amendment stuff didn't get to you, what's happening now, what he's suggesting is the equivalent of a beer tax. Think about that. Really think about that. Is there anything more anti-American than a beer tax? I rest my case, Your Honor.
Alright everyone, that's our show. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, comment, do all the YouTube-y things that you like to do.
Yeah, and we need you to hit the internet, light it up over protesting the possibility of fedoras and jingly hats having a 25% tariff.
Oh, yeah.
We might not be able to absorb that. We might get outsourced.
We might have to move to China to keep doing this.
It wouldn't be fun, but...
How much do you think the apartments are in the greater Beijing area?
I'm not sure about the exchange rate. I have to check that out.
Yeah, we need to check into that.
But man, you do what you gotta do for the heads.
And if you don't believe us...
We have an actual economist. You don't have to believe us.
What?
Yeah.
Those aren't real. Those are fake.
Okay, economists are an endangered species, but they still exist. Dude's got degrees and everything.
Wow, so what do we get, like Mises or Hayek or one of those guys?
Even better.
What?
Yeah.
No way.
From the Lucky Libertarian, we have Tarnell Brown with a special presentation. All you gotta do is click the link in the description below.
Yeah, do that. Do it now.